Good morning, YouTube. This is King Smash 35. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about another issue that I believe is okay. Recently, I did a microtransaction video. Now, I work another job, so I work 5 days at the other job, and I have 2 days to relax. And I had a backlog of Game Informer magazines, for being a GameStop Power Up player, Power Up Rewards member. And I recommend getting that because if you really want to get ahead of the gamer issues and talk about things and just hear interesting articles, that's the magazine for you. But today we're going to talk about. I recently did a microtransaction video and I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm going to redo another one. But there's this article, me having my day off, I took the time to reread some of the backlog issues of Game Informer that I had. And there was this article by a man named Darth Clark at Game Informer. I'm not dissing on the man. He has a very unique perspective on the microtransaction scene. And right now I'm going to break it down and I'm going to speak on it, just speak on it. His article is called, in Game Informer, the one with control on the cover, is called The Logical Defense of Microtransactions. I think that's a pretty convincing title. If that doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what will. Okay, he starts out by saying, sometimes being the only enlightened gamer is hard. For example, I see everybody complaining online about how microtransactions are making games worse and ruining the industry, but no one actually considers the issue from all sides. Since you all seem incapable of seeing the good in microtransactions, prepare to have a real professional explain it to you. Now, I like the way he approaches us and says that, but he's right on some things. We only see the gamer side. We see the consumer side. We don't see the producer side of it. And I think that that's something that we definitely need to consider when we talk about microtransactions. Now, I'm going to go over here. I'm not trying to backmouth the guy. I'm not trying to diss him or diss the magazine, because Game Informer is literally the only magazine I really read. It really is the only things I read. And back to the article, though. I agree. We don't see the other side of it. We only see our side of things. And it's easy to see only your side of something when you're fixated on your side and you're complaining about your side. I understand that. But let's go back to another article. And I'm just going to break it down for you because I believe this is an interesting perspective and an interesting take. I'm going to read his article and I'm going to go ahead and give my input on it. And I would like to hear your comments down below. And without further ado, let's begin. Microtransactions are not about publishers trying to milk gamers for their money. It's about gamers getting more out of their favorite titles. Back in the day, you'd be stuck with whatever was on the disc when it shipped. Today, microtransactions allow you to continuously receive new content. But guess what? That content isn't free, and game developers deserve to be compensated for creating it. Thinking you should get something for nothing is the height of entitlement. I agree with the height of entitlement part. I don't expect to get nothing for free. I'm sorry, man, but I learned that at a very early age. You ain't gonna get nothing for free. But I will say this. Back in the day, we had our games completely. They were complete. We didn't get them in an incomplete state at release. Like in the 90s, you didn't hear about Pokemon Blue or Pokemon Red or Yellow or those Final Fantasy games coming incomplete. We got what was on the disc, but what we got on the disc was premier good content back then. And that's just my opinion on the matter, but that's neither here nor there. But I will agree with you this. I don't mind paying for good content. I have no issue paying with it. Heck, I played Evolve a few years back. It was most of y'all might not be familiar with it. It was a game where you got it was a 5-player game. 4 players versus 1 player. 1 player is the monsters, and there's 4 hunters, and vice versa. It's another thing. If you really want to, it was on the Xbox free games. I don't know whether I'm not backmouthing it by saying that, but you know what I'm saying. But there was a lot of skins for it. Like what defined as good content, bro, is like you don't really know what good content is because that always differs by the perspective of the gamer, and it really is a matter of perspective when it comes to good content. But we're going to go ahead and see that. Now, also, this is the issue where I think that me and his opinions kind of differ here. I really think that we differ here. Also, microtransactions make your characters more powerful, which is always a good thing. No one cries foul when you level up normally and get a new ability or find a chest with a cool weapon. But if you pay real money for those, suddenly having a strong character is bad, but it throws the competitive balance off. You may whine, but that's the point. Why pay for better gear or more XP, which I can easily afford? He put that in parentheses. And I can, if I can wipe the floor with some cheapskates. Survival of the fittest, friends. I gotta stop right there. It's most like when he said survival of the fittest, more like survival of the richest. I mean, should Big Bang Hank get a... Okay, I admit it. The issue of having pay to win is a bit much because it's unfair. Like, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online since release. And throughout the time, I'm literally, at the current day and age, I am literally a champion level 890. Which I don't have the champion points to spend, but I just keep leveling up until the next DLC comes. Then those certain champion points become available. But I'd be mad as hell. I'd be mad as all holy heck if somebody came over there and said, "Oh, I could just pay $20 and catch up to the champion 800." Like the hell. I mean, I played that game back when it dropped in 2015, and I still continually play it. It would be upsetting to see something happen. Pay to win is where I draw the line on microtransactions. I'm a firm believer in a game is only good when both players play it enough and practice at it enough to become good at it. You can't like in my opinion. Sorry, I gotta fix my stuff here. Don't want my goddamn chest hairs hanging out. But I do not want to pay. I'm not crying foul when somebody levels up normally. Because the grind in games these days is ridiculous. Mortal Kombat 11 has one of the hardest grinds ever. You got these time crystals that you could buy. And you could just, everything you do get you coins or currency or some sort of in that game. But grinding for the thing is, like, I could respect somebody who grinded for... Let me use a good example for grinding. Mother Sorrow said in ESO, I grinded for those pieces in the trait stone for about 2 years for my Templar DPS. And, it was a hard grind, but I'd be upset if somebody could just pay, $25 and get a set of armor and whatever trait they would want. I'm not saying $25 is an outrageous example, but you see the point here? Everybody's had a big issue with loot boxes since the Star Wars debacle, since the Star Wars Battlefront 2 debacle. Now, or everybody used to use words like Luke Skywalker, which was probably one of my favorite memes of all time. But I will say this on the matter. Competitive edge does matter. It ain't a fair game if Big Bang Hank comes in here and buy billions of goddamn skills. It just doesn't work. But, that's neither here nor there. But everybody probably feels different on it. But that's just my opinion. Now, I'm going to get back to the article. Sorry about all that, getting off track. I'm still not comfortable recording yet, but I'll work on it. Here's the hilarious part. Now, y'all, bear with me on this one. Microtransactions obviously work. They continue to exist because people like them and spend money on them. If you hate them so much, maybe you should examine what's wrong with you, not them. What are you going to do? Not buy games with microtransactions? Good luck. Darth Clark, you gave us a pretty unique example of that. Microtransactions are in every game. Mortal Kombat, I've seen them in all kind of games. But I don't believe in paying for skins. But I will pay if something's dope enough. Hey, if it looks good, I'm one of those guys. I played a little game called Defiance back on the 360 when it dropped on the 360 a few years back, and I bought a crap ton of cosmetics in that game. Like, you would not believe the cosmetics I bought in that game. And if you ask my partner Selena XD, she'll tell you the same thing. I spent a lot of money on that, but. What I'm saying is whether the microtransactions work is neither here nor there. There's the big gambling issue or whatever. And I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother video in its entirety. And I will say this. Microtransactions work in some situations. But paying to get better, dude, depreciate your. I mean, if I'm a firm believer, and this is my opinion, y'all may not like it, but if you got to pay to be good at a game, then you probably shouldn't be playing. I mean, you're talking about real money that you worked hard for or whatever for, and you're spending it. And back to the whole thing about this. I mean, I work at it. I'm a cook at Denny's. I cook at Denny's in a town called Lloydsburg, New Mexico. It's off I-10. It's easily, you could blink and miss it. But I work there 5 days a week. I have a son that's plays sports. I have a spouse. My partner works too. But we don't have money to be spending on it. Okay, if, like let's say somebody could buy max level rank in ESL. We don't have time for that because we got other expenses to bill. Like other gamers got bills to pay, food to buy, and just all other expenses. Just because you work a better job, that gives you the right to talk about buying. You can't buy. Man, there was an old. Now I don't know if y'all listen to rap or whatever hip hop. But Jay-Z said you can go to school, but you can't buy class. And the gaming equivalent of that is like you can play the game, but you can't buy skill. Or now you can. Because just because a brother buys something that makes him better doesn't make him a good gamer. In my opinion, I'm firmly against the idea of somebody coming into a game with a $50 goddamn balance on Microsoft or whatever you play on, and suddenly you go from Kanye West, I'm alright, to Kanye West, I am a god. No, it just doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't. But this whole idea of finding microtransactions, I believe I like microtransactions in this form of cosmetics. Because it gives your character a new look. You're not stuck with that whole little, you gotta look the same throughout the game. You could buy, if you want it, but there's a difference. I'm not gonna pay $5 for, let's say, a blue gun in Evolve. And I'm just not gonna do that. But, and it's just what everybody purchases. And just microtransactions really hurt. Like, pay to win is my biggest issue. But I'm going to do another video separately on that. And I'm going to probably have my buddy Arcade Justice here. And I'm going to get my buddy Mario here because he's a big PlayStation guy. So I want to see their end of things. But thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Put some comments in the video below. And I would love to get back to you. Because tell me what you think. Microtransactions, good, evil, or necessary evil? Stay tuned, everybody. And thank you for watching the video. King Smash 35, adios, and have a good morning.